even if you've adopted an Arab religion. You don't have to at least become an Arab to adopt an Arab religion. Kuffars, I'm the Murtadeen. I'm a Murtad.
Hello, sir, and why are you here today?
I'm here to protest.
People are angry.
A topic we seem to be coming back to with alarming regularity, and I'm afraid one we're going to come back to time and time again. Reports of widespread, systematic child abuse running through every echelon of British society. With a new preliminary report as part of Operation Hydrant, which is coordinating historical and current child abuse allegations across the country. Police forces are setting out more than 1,400 people are being investigated for historical and current child sex abuse. This number, apparently, Mark, includes 261 high-profile figures from the entertainment, political and sporting worlds. So when these numbers become names, when there are names to these numbers, it's really going to hit the fan.
There are already some names out there, too.
There are already some names out there, the most famous for being Jimmy Savile. We've covered, we talked about Jimmy Savile, we talked about Sir Cyril Smith, we talked about Gary Glitter. Famous, high-profile people that were part of, you know, child abuse, paedophile rings, not necessarily all interconnected, but part of a system, a part of a society which, on some level, they were protected.
So why did why was this sweeping, organized, kind of sweep down on simultaneous figures? How did this start?
Well, I think it's really been crystallized as a result of Jimmy Savile, and I think that really shocked everybody. He was highly decorated. I mean, you want to just jump in?
Yeah, I mean, look at this guy. He's a huge star in England.
He was a huge light entertainer. Particularly, I mean, when I was growing up, he was the face. I mean, you know, we only had 3 channels, and you know, but he was the face of children's entertainment. He was, you know, raised a lot of money for charity. He had a top show, you know, one of the only top.
And it was a children's show.
And it was a children's show called Jim Will Fix It. He would go and sit on Jimmy's lap, and he would fix it for you. And you could I remember very clearly, he fixed it for this guy to play with Adam and the Ants.
How many times do you think he would use that as a pickup line? Come here, Jim will fix it.
I'll fix it.
Sit on my lap.
Well, that's right. And he had an all access. He would access all areas, and I don't mean that in any kind of gross way. But he would go everywhere. He used to open hospitals. He would go in and routinely abuse kids in the hospitals where he was the patron of, and what he'd opened, and the charities he'd worked for raised money to open these children's wings, and he'd go and abuse the kids.
Isn't this the face, the archetypical face of the child molester there, like the creepiest? Now, in retrospect, knowing this, and you look at that, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, he never married, he had a horrible mother.
Thank you very much.
They did these really creepy documentaries on him. He had this horrible fixation with his mother. And he kept a mausoleum to her, he kept her room as it was. She'd been dead like 50 years. He kept everything precise. And he was a weird, strange guy. He really got under the surface. But he was protected from best buddies with Margaret Thatcher. He was protected from up on high. Anyway, as a result of these revelations coming out about him after he died, they opened up all these other cases, and abuse victims suddenly had the confidence to come forward. Their voice would be heard, that they wouldn't be swept under the carpet, that they would be taken seriously. Mark, as part of this Operation Hydrant, there's also, in addition to these high-profile individuals, and as I said, once names are put to these numbers, it's all hell's going to break loose. There are 357 institutions, including schools, children's homes, religious institutions, medical establishments, sports venues, where the abuse took place. We're talking hundreds of thousands of victims. Hundreds of thousands of victims.
Why do you suppose it's been so institutionalized and now just becoming...
This is a question I was been grappling with. I don't know if it's particular to the United Kingdom. I think in some ways, I feel in some ways it's part of a historical, systematic abuse, as I said, going back to the 1950s, where politicians could get away with whatever they wanted, and it's just been carried on and handed down. And it just, as it becomes more and more, as it grows and as we get closer to modern times, it becomes increasingly embarrassing. And so there are increasing numbers of elaborate government cover-ups, and there's all sorts of stories and reports of critical dossiers and documents going missing and no one being able to account for things because it just becomes politically impossible for anybody to really expose it. But now, hopefully, with the Jimmy Savile thing, it's finally going to expose it. But these numbers are just mind-blowing.
It is. And you showed Gary Glitter earlier, and Gary Glitter was a sort of a well-known case that has been ongoing for years. Gary Glitter, a musician, and we know his songs. At any sporting event that you go to, you're hearing Gary Glitter when you go there, and he's making money off of that. And I hate to be a singer, I'm not going to sing, but you know, it goes da 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 da, hey, da 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 da. That's Gary Glitter. Rock and Roll Part 2 is the name of the song, and it's played at every sporting event, at least in the United States. He's making money off that. Should it still be allowed? Should people just?
I mean, he's a convicted, right? I would have thought so, just for no other reason than decency. You want to be in my gang? Ironically, another one of his big hits. I mean, it's so distasteful. It's just the numbers are just staggering. This is what Gabriel Shaw, Chief Executive of the National Association for People Abused in Childhood, said. Prolific offenders from all spheres of society, thinking they were untouchable, abusing children, and the most vulnerable in settings where they should have been safest, including schools, care facilities, and religious institutions. And that is really what angers me as much as anything, is that this is just, you know, the abuse is one thing, and I don't want to, but it's the fact that you're supposed to be in a safe environment, and these were, a lot of these kids were unfortunate, forgotten about children in care homes, and then this befalls them. I mean, it's just unconscionable. I'm right behind the investigation. I know there's been some comments in the past that people are fearful that it's not going to be fair, it's not going to be thorough, and it won't be utterly transparent. I just pray that it will be, and that these names of these people will become identified, and they'll get exposed for the horrific acts that they've committed. Let us know your thoughts. Thanks for being with us here. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Lib TV.
Thank you very much.
आम करेलान काफिर काफिर शिया काफिर 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 शिया.
That's the behavior of backwards people. These are not civilized people. You don't have to imitate them and their behavior. I'm the Mortadeen. I'm a Mortad, if anything.